1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. 1, 1. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 1. Uno, dos, uno, dos, tres, cuatro. Uno, dos, uno, dos.
Sí, lo envié a las redes. Lo tengo que cambiar, Sammy. Una consulta. ¿El aire está prendido?
Pero ¿a dónde puedo hacerlo?
Dejo eso. Porque voy a usar este micrófono. O sabe, por si acaso me lo traigo, la última vez uno se apagó. Por si acaso. Sí. Ajá. Aló. Un poquito más de volumen. Ajá. Ok, chicos, vamos a comenzar en 1 minuto, pero antes de comenzar quisiera tomar una foto porque creo que mis colegas de EducationUSA no van a creer que han venido tantas personas el día de hoy. Entonces, si quieren estar en nuestro Facebook, si pueden mirar a la cámara, ¿ya? Una foto para el Face. Perfecto. Ok. Bueno. Bienvenidos a todos el día de hoy al IPNA. El IPNA es un centro que no solamente les va a ofrecer la gran oportunidad de aprender el idioma inglés, pero este año queremos promover no solamente el gran programa académico que tenemos, sino también otras oportunidades. En este caso, el IPNA tiene un centro EducationUSA y este centro se encarga de promover estudios superiores en los Estados Unidos para más de 4,000 universidades, más de casi 700 tipos de carreras. El día de hoy tenemos la presencia de representantes de Harvey Mudd College, de Occidental College y de Colorado College, y ellos van a hacer la segunda parte de esta presentación en inglés. Entonces todos vamos a practicar nuestro English listening, pero yo voy a comenzar la presentación en español. Al final vamos a responder consultas, entonces les pido que por favor guarden sus consultas al final para el panel. Listos. La presentación va a ser en español para esta primera parte y lo que yo voy a hablar es sobre el proceso de postulación a universidades americanas. Creo que es una misión posible estudiar en los Estados Unidos y hoy voy a hablar de cómo EducationUSA les puede ayudar a ustedes a lograr esta meta. Comenzando. En 1 segundo. Vamos a ver. Quizás está mal. Oh, y también quisiera resaltar que estamos en vivo en YouTube. Estamos ahorita live streaming. Entonces, saludos a todos en YouTube. Me dices. Ahora sí. Y comenzamos. Bueno, ¿por qué estudiar en los Estados Unidos? Pienso que cada vez que he dado presentaciones sobre el tema, siempre hemos llenado todas las salas. Todos reconocemos que en los Estados Unidos van a encontrar excelentes ofertas académicas. Hay universidades en todos los estados, hay universidades que ofrecen muchos programas y hay universidades que no les van a decir que tienen que estudiar solo un currículum, les van a dejar tener la libertad de buscar lo que quieren estudiar y mezclar sus intereses. En los Estados Unidos, los alumnos están en aulas con alumnos de todo el mundo, entonces no es nada común de ingresar a una aula y estar con chicos de Italia, chicos de Taiwán, chicos de la India, un chileno, ¿por qué no? Y es a nivel internacional. Nosotros sabemos que la educación americana ofrece muchas oportunidades, hasta para los alumnos que no terminan sus estudios. Uno de los casos más famosos es el creador de Facebook, que solo tuvo que ingresar a Harvard y no completó sus estudios y igual creó algo increíble, ¿no? En cuanto a la vida universitaria, ustedes en los Estados Unidos se van a dar cuenta que los alumnos no solamente hablan sobre las oportunidades que hay en una aula, te hablan de las oportunidades que existen en los miles de clubs que hay a nivel nacional. Te van a hablar de todos los deportes que hay, sororities y fraternities. Hay muchísimas cosas que ustedes van a poder involucrarse en más allá de sus estudios. Por eso, cuando los jóvenes terminan en los Estados Unidos, nosotros creemos que los conocimientos que uno tiene realmente les preparan para el siglo XXI, para poder llevar ese grado no solamente al Perú, no solamente en los Estados Unidos. Un grado universitario de los Estados Unidos te sirve para recorrer el mundo. Ahora, cuando nosotros damos presentaciones, y en particular cuando recibimos a tantos alumnos en los centros, la mayoría saben o conocen de algunas de estas instituciones. ¿Cuáles en esta pantalla ustedes han visto antes? Todos hemos visto Harvard, exacto. Ajá. Right. Sí. Exacto. Y para nada sirvió el hecho de tener la foto ahí. Ustedes todas ya las tenían memorizadas, exacto. Pero si nosotros hablamos más allá de estas 30 que hay en pantalla, nosotros estamos hablando de 4,000 instituciones. Que en este número estamos hablando de community colleges, estamos hablando de public universities, universidades estatales, y private universities, universidades particulares. Hay universidades como liberal arts universities, que también están presentes el día de hoy, que les van a ofrecer una educación muy especial, porque el ambiente de un liberal arts college es pequeño. Hay universidades en Estados Unidos como la Universidad de Arizona, que tiene más de 80,000 alumnos, que hay universidades que tienen menos de 1,000. ¿no? Entonces, cuando nosotros en EducationUSA trabajamos con todos ustedes, siempre decimos, la meta no es encontrar y solamente postular a la universidad que encabeza un ranking. La meta es encontrar las universidades que les van a ofrecer el ambiente, el programa, las oportunidades que buscan. Y, ¿por qué no, algunas becas? Ahora, cuando hablo de universidades americanas, nosotros no estamos hablando de una concentración en una capital. En Perú, cuando nosotros hacemos visitas a nivel provincia, yo siempre pregunto a los chicos, ¿dónde quieres postular? Y la gran mayoría de los alumnos en provincia me dicen, yo voy a ir a Lima, porque en Lima hay buenas universidades. Pero cuando yo hablo con alumnos americanos y les pregunto, alguien puede estar en Washington, D.C. y le digo, ¿dónde vas a estudiar? El joven no está pensando solo en Washington, D.C. Me dice, quizás me voy a ir a California, quizás puedo considerar Hawái. El alumno americano considera que hay miles de buenas universidades si son universidades acreditadas. Entonces quisiera que cuando ustedes miren este mapa, identifiquen que hay miles de universidades buenas y que no solamente están en una ciudad y que no solamente están en un estado. Ahora, otra pregunta que bastante de los jóvenes me hacen es, bueno, ¿cuántos alumnos logran esta meta? ¿Cuántos alumnos extranjeros están en los Estados Unidos? Bueno, la última data del Instituto Internacional de la Educación nos demuestra que tenemos casi 1 millón de alumnos extranjeros ahorita en los Estados Unidos. Y los países que más envían alumnos a los Estados Unidos para cursar pregrados, maestrías y doctorados son alumnos que vienen de países como China, que envía más de 190,000 alumnos cada año a los Estados Unidos, o como la India, que está por similares cifras. También tienes países en nuestra región que envían alumnos, por ejemplo, desde Canadá hasta los vecinos en Brasil, que pueden enviar entre 6 a 16,000 alumnos cada año a los Estados Unidos. Pero mi pregunta para ustedes es, ¿cuántos alumnos peruanos creen que hay en los Estados Unidos? ¿no? Definitivamente no estamos en amarillo, pero la última data nos demuestra que nosotros tenemos 2,763 alumnos peruanos actualmente estudiando en pregrados, maestrías y doctorados en los Estados Unidos. Esto es una cifra que en los últimos 5 años Lo máximo que hemos llegado como Perú es 3.300. Obviamente hay muchos factores que podemos evaluar, entre ellos el factor inglés. We have to speak English to compete, right? En adición a eso, tenemos que tener conocimiento del proceso, porque muchos de los países que envían a tantos alumnos tienen asesores especializados en todos los colegios o acceso a ellos para poder ofrecer a todos los alumnos esta información a una temprana edad, ¿no? Para poder prepararse. Hemos conversado con asesores de EducationUSA en China y ellos están trabajando con jóvenes desde tan temprano como primaria, preparándose para ir a los Estados Unidos. Entonces, tomen eso en consideración. Pero quisiera resaltar que estas cifras, aunque sean no tan grandes, siempre están en aumento y nosotros como asesores nos encanta poder ofrecer estas oportunidades para que ustedes conozcan un poco más. Ahora, en cuanto al sistema de estudios superiores en los Estados Unidos, es importante que ustedes conozcan algunas de las grandes diferencias. En los Estados Unidos, alumnos terminan la secundaria quizás a los 17 años o los 18 años, y ellos terminan la secundaria y no tienen pres y no tienen exámenes de admisión. Ellos saben que pueden postular a 1, a 5, a 20 universidades a la vez, porque saben que en los Estados Unidos no hay ninguna garantía que una institución los tiene que admitir. Pienso que la mayoría de alumnos americanos saben que es una competencia global y por lo tanto para mejorar sus oportunidades van a postular a varias universidades y no todo americano va a postular a Harvard, por ejemplo. Algunas opciones que tienen es estudiar en un community college 2 años y luego hacer un traslado por 2 años más. Cuando alumnos estudian en community colleges ahorran mucho dinero y tienen de cierta forma admisión directa después de cumplir 2 años de estudio. Otra opción es terminar la secundaria y postular en tu último año directamente a un college o university, donde tú vas a estudiar 4 años una carrera. En Perú estudiamos bastantes años, conocido alumnos eternos, pero en los Estados Unidos una carrera dura 4 años y generalmente tú haces tu tesis durante tu 4º año. Después de tu maestría o después de tu pregrado, tu opción es realizar una maestría que puede durar entre 1 año a 2 años más. Y luego, si deseas ser un catedrático o un investigador, podrías estudiar 4 o 5 años más tu doctorado. Entre bachilleres, maestrías y doctorados hay mucha ayuda financiera a nivel doctorado, pero también hay muchas competencias desde pregrado y maestría. La palabra clara aquí es competir. Y esto me trae a EducationUSA. Nosotros no solamente estamos en el ICPNA, el centro EducationUSA, los centros de asesoría, estamos en 170 países, hay 440 centros. Hay una Kelly en Japón ahorita dando una charla a un grupo de chicos sobre cómo realizar estudios en los Estados Unidos. Y lo que nosotros queremos hacer es darle la información más actual, imparcial y correcta sobre cómo realizar esta meta. Porque pienso que lo más triste es cuando alguien dice, yo tengo un sueño, pero no sé a dónde recurrir, no sé qué pasos debo seguir. Y yo les estoy diciendo el día de hoy que ustedes tienen a EducationUSA. ¿Qué te podemos ofrecer en el caso del ICPNA? Nosotros tenemos asesorías personalizadas. Hay varios chicos en la audiencia de hoy que son mis alumnos, que les forcé a venir el día de hoy. Nosotros ofrecemos asesorías para pregrado, maestrías y doctorados. En estas asesorías les vamos a explicar cómo buscar programas, cómo competir para becas, dónde prepararse para exámenes internacionales y cómo entender cuál es mi perfil y qué universidades en Estados Unidos son las mejores para mí, dado a mi excelencia. No todos en la audiencia el día de hoy tenemos el mismo nivel de inglés, no todos tenemos el mismo interés de que queremos estudiar. Tenemos en la audiencia alumnos primeros puestos, alumnos tercio superior, alumnos que quisieran no hablar de sus notas, y en Estados Unidos tenemos tantas opciones que nosotros en los centros te explicamos, considera que tienes muchas posibilidades. Nos pueden encontrar a nivel nacional, entonces si tienen familiares ahorita que no están en Lima, por favor díganles que tenemos 11 centros a nivel nacional que les van a poder brindar esta información. Ahí están en la pantalla, estamos en Trujillo, en Piura, acabamos de abrir en la Universidad de Piura, en sede Piura, estamos en Cusco, Arequipa, a nivel nacional, y la idea es crecer con el pase del tiempo. Ahora, para ya hablar específicamente sobre el proceso de la postulación, nosotros en EducationUSA reducimos el proceso en 5 pasos. El primer paso no es postular a la visa, el primer paso no es dar un examen de inglés, el primer paso es siempre investigar tus opciones. Research your options. Ya que mencioné que tenemos 4,000 universidades, ustedes tienen que considerar que tienen que utilizar herramientas más allá de rankings para poder encontrar universidades de calidad y para poder encontrar universidades donde hay ayuda financiera para alumnos extranjeros. Hay muchas instituciones que son excelentes, pero que no ofrecen ayuda financiera, que podríamos llamar becas. Entonces, ustedes tienen que considerar que en mi búsqueda yo tengo que estar preparado para hacer muchas preguntas. El segundo paso es financiar tus estudios. En los Estados Unidos, nuestras universidades estatales no son gratuitas. El alumno americano está acostumbrado a poder pagar para tener acceso a una universidad de calidad. Ahora, entre estas 4,000 hay universidades que tienen políticas económicas muy grandes para los mejores alumnos. Entonces, cuando ustedes tienen excelencia y lo pueden demostrar en sus exámenes de aptitud, en sus expedientes académicos, ustedes van a poder alcanzar y poder competir para estas becas, a diferencia si no pudieron sobresalir demasiado en el colegio. Yo siempre digo, si un alumno es excelente, en todo el sentido de la palabra, va a poder competir para posibilidades. Pero si un alumno no lo es, y en adición a eso no tiene el inglés, esto va a ser un proceso muy largo. En cuanto a la solicitud, los presentadores el día de hoy van a hablar con ustedes acerca de ciertos exámenes, entre ellos el TOEFL IBT, que para todos en el Perú, todo alumno extranjero, ese examen todos vamos a tener que aprobar con una nota de excelencia para demostrar a las universidades en los Estados Unidos que tenemos el nivel de inglés para estar en una aula académica, para hacer las tareas, para poder competir y poder contribuir a una aula, porque el idioma solamente va a ser en inglés. Hay ciertos exámenes de aptitud en los Estados Unidos, solamente les voy a decir, se llaman SAT, el otro examen es ACT. Todos estos exámenes se pueden rendir aquí en Lima. Hay cursos de preparación y en el centro de asesoría les vamos a brindar esa información. En cuanto al tema de la solicitud de visa, muchos alumnos creen que es imposible obtener una visa. Pienso que hace muchos años la realidad del Perú era muy distinta. Estoy feliz de decirle que de todas las visas que existen para ir a los Estados Unidos, la visa de estudios tiene casi 90% de aprobación, porque la embajada sabe que un alumno que ha logrado ingresar a una universidad no hizo eso en 2 días. Generalmente se han preparado 9 meses, 12 meses para realizar esa meta. Esa persona tiene una meta clara, es una persona seria y por lo tanto van a facilitar que ustedes puedan estudiar en los Estados Unidos. El último paso, en este caso, lo vamos a ofrecer en junio. Cada año ofrecemos talleres para los alumnos que han trabajado con centros de asesoría EducationUSA a nivel Perú. Estos talleres les van a permitir conversar con cónsules, conversar con el embajador de Estados Unidos. Los chicos que van a ir a la embajada van a conocer a peruanos que han regresado al Perú, que ahora están trabajando aquí en Lima o a nivel nacional, para que ellos les ofrezcan información sobre cómo fue esa transición Lima-Estados Unidos y cómo es la transición después de terminar mis estudios allá, qué oportunidades tengo. Todo eso ofrecemos a lo largo de estos 5 pasos para nuestros alumnos. Ahora, antes de pasar al micrófono directamente a los presentadores de hoy, quisiera compartir con ustedes ciertos apps que pienso que les van a ayudar bastante desde ahora en adelante, si tu meta es estudiar en los Estados Unidos, mejorar tus conocimientos para los exámenes, mejorar tus conocimientos para los cursos, la vida universitaria. El primer app es Duolingo. Si ustedes tienen celulares, es un app súper práctico. Hay millones de usuarios a nivel mundial y esto fue creado en la Universidad de Carnegie Mellon por un alumno de Centroamérica. Entonces, les recomiendo Duolingo, el programa de inglés. El siguiente app es la plataforma edX, que les va a permitir tomar cursos a nivel universitario desde su computadora o hasta su celular, cursos de las mejores universidades del mundo. Entre ellas, ustedes ya lo han mencionado, ¿no? Harvard. Son cursos gratuitos, pueden durar 1 mes, 3 meses. Muchos vienen con certificados que van a ayudarles a mejorar su currículum. Otro app que ahora no solamente es en inglés, sino en español, fue creado por un alumno que terminó en Harvard Business School. Se llama Khan Academy. Es una plataforma que te va a dar mucha ayuda en las tareas que tienen hoy en sus clases. Pero también Khan Academy acaba de hacer un acuerdo con la empresa College Board para ofrecerles a todos ustedes gratuitamente preparación para uno de los exámenes más importantes de aptitud, el examen SAT. Entonces, si entran a Khan Academy, no van a tener que pagar para aprender cómo prepararse para ese examen. Van a tener pruebas, simulacros y mucha asistencia 24 horas al día. La última plataforma que quisiera compartir con ustedes es la empresa Magoosh. Magoosh tiene muchos textos para descargar de todos los exámenes de preparación. Tienen muchas herramientas para sus celulares que les van a permitir mejorar su vocabulario, les van a permitir darse cuenta cómo es este examen, sea TOEFL, sea SAT, sea ACT. Entonces, definitivamente consideren descargar cualquiera de estos apps para ayudarlos. Quizás algunos de ustedes ya tienen el inglés, entonces lo más recomendable es que comiencen preparándose para algunos de los exámenes internacionales. Los alumnos que no tienen el nivel de inglés pueden comenzar con apps como Duolingo o cursos como los que hay aquí en el ICPNA. Para concluir, quisiera hablar un poco sobre el perfil de un ganador. Nosotros en los centros de asesoría a nivel mundial recibimos miles de alumnos cada año en los centros. Muchos alumnos vienen a las charlas, muchos alumnos nos dicen que su meta es estudiar en los Estados Unidos. Lastimosamente no puedo decir que el 100% de esos alumnos van a los Estados Unidos. Entonces quisiera comentarles algunas de las características que tienen los jóvenes que logran su meta. Este año de nuestro centro estamos enviando más de 20 chicos desde pregrado, maestrías a doctorados a los Estados Unidos. Y algunas de sus cualidades son su determinación. Hay alumnos que tienen una determinación que yo digo, para mí es increíble, es admirable, a pesar de la realidad de donde vienen. Quizás no conocen a nadie que ha logrado esta meta, pero dicen, yo voy a ser el primero en mi familia en lograr esta meta. Son alumnos súper disciplinados. Nosotros en el centro damos a los chicos muchas herramientas, pero yo no voy a estar llamándolos a decir, estás estudiando. Entonces los chicos que tienen la disciplina me piden a mí más tarea. Y eso es el tipo de alumno que logra esta meta. Pienso que el alumno que sabe que el fracaso no es lo peor, también tiene mucho éxito. A lo largo de este proceso, muchos de ustedes se van a dar cuenta que los exámenes son difíciles y quizás van a tener que darlos no una vez, sino 2, 3 veces, ¿no? Y la idea del alumno que logra ir a Estados Unidos, él ve cada fracaso como una oportunidad de crecer y mejorar su conocimiento. Me dice, no me fue bien la primera vez en mi TOEFL, Kelly, pero la siguiente vez va a ser la mejor, ¿no? Y eso es el tipo de alumno, esas son algunas de las cualidades que yo pienso que ayuda a un alumno a lograr esta meta. Y son cualidades que yo espero que la mayoría de ustedes aquí puedan compartir. Entonces, con eso quisiera ya concluir. Muchísimas gracias por estar con nosotros el día de hoy. Tenemos presentadores que acaban de venir de los Estados Unidos justamente buscando hablar con todos ustedes. Les he hablado 1000 maravillas de ustedes. Ustedes en YouTube también les he hablado 1000 maravillas. para que ustedes puedan aprender un poco sobre la vida en los Estados Unidos y las posibilidades, las miles de posibilidades que hay. Antes de terminar, quisiera resaltar que ustedes pueden acceder a más oportunidades como esta si nos siguen en redes sociales. Estamos en Facebook, estamos en Twitter, estamos hasta en Instagram. Y esta foto que tomé de hoy va directamente a Instagram. Entonces, muchísimas gracias por su tiempo. Resalto que vamos a pasar con los presentadores. Van a responder varias consultas al final. Entonces quisiera pedirles un aplauso para poder comenzar. Do you want to take the table? Cool. Okay.
Hello, everybody. It's working. Perfect. Hello? Woo!
Wait, got it. Okay. Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming out tonight. We want to introduce ourselves and the colleges that we come from. We're going to talk a little bit about our individual institutions, and then we have been given a list of questions, frequently asked questions, that we are going to address for you all. And then at the end, we'll open it up to any other questions that you all might have. So,
And also, all of us have materials about our own colleges. So when the presentation is over, please meet us in the back, and we can give you lots of stuff.
absolutely. Do you okay, so I'll start introducing myself. My name is Carter DeLoro. Causing some feedback problems. Okay. I work at Occidental College. Occidental College is located in Los Angeles, California. We have 2,100 students in our student body. And as is the case with all of the colleges here, we are a small liberal arts college. And we're going to get into what that means. But in short, for us, that means that we have 32 different majors that you can study, in addition to 9 courses that are minor only. You have access as a student here and at all of our colleges to any of the courses that we offer. So you come in undecided and you get to explore. For us at Occidental, we put a heavy emphasis on bringing you out into the city of Los Angeles as part of your study. So your classes are going to take you into museums and politicians' offices and into nature in order to see how what you learn in the classroom applies in the real world. And fortunately, Los Angeles has almost anything you could imagine in it. So it helps all of our students see kind of a bigger picture of what they study.
Great. So I'm Misa Kabashima. I'm Assistant Director of Admission at Harvey Mudd College. So Harvey Mudd is in Claremont, California, which is actually near Occidental College, where Carter's school is. It's about 55 kilometers east of the city of Los Angeles. And being in Los Angeles, that means the weather is always good. So that's something to think about when you think about college. Our school is very, very small. So we are a whopping 800 students at my institution. And all of our students study something in science, technology, engineering, and math. So we are a liberal arts college, but the way that we teach that is through the different STEM fields. Studying STEM is unique at Harvey Mudd for a few different reasons. One is that you're actually part of a group of 5 different colleges. So we share classes, we share events and clubs, dining services, facilities with 4 other schools. And those schools are Pomona College, Claremont McKenna College, Scripps College, and Pitzer College. And I'm happy to talk more about those schools later if anybody has questions. We are the smallest at 800 students, but between all 5 schools, we have over 5,000 students. So all of our students have this experience of going to a small school, but with the resources and the social atmosphere of what it's like to go to a larger place. So you get the best of both worlds. At Harvey Mudd, all you have to know coming into Harvey Mudd is that you want to study something in science, technology, engineering, and math. And our students will spend their 4 years taking courses across those disciplines. So the nice thing about us is that you can explore all of the different STEM fields. So every single student at Harvey Mudd will take classes in math, and physics, and chemistry, biology, computer science, and engineering. At our school, you don't just take the one thing that you're interested in, you really get to experience all of the different fields within math and science. All of our majors are math and science focused, so we only have 9, and we offer majors in biology, chemistry, physics, math, computer science, and engineering. We have a dual major in chemistry and biology, a dual major in computer science and math, and a mathematical computational biology major, so pretty cool. All of our students are guaranteed to do research at our college, so they can either do their own projects, they get to work with professors, and they also get to have an experience where they work for a company in industry. So they've worked for people like SpaceX, Google, Paramount Pictures, some really impressive things. But our students also, more importantly, get to take courses outside of the world of math and science. So if you are the type of person who, let's say, loves engineering, but you're also interested in history, or you're interested in dance, or music, or art, or computer science, you really get the chance here to take courses across all of those different disciplines. So you don't have to only do what you like in math and science. You have the chance to be able to take courses across all the fields that you're interested in.
Hi everyone, my name is Megan Rhodes and I'm with Colorado College. Colorado College is in Colorado, so it's easy to remember. A fun fact about Colorado is we have more mountains that are above 14,000 feet than any other state in the country. Colorado Springs, where we're located, is actually the largest American city to border forest land. So we actually have the best of both worlds in Colorado Springs. We have a full-scale city. It's actually the size of Boston proper, 15-minute walk from campus, while at the same time we have over 500 miles of hiking and cycling trails, beautiful mountains that surround our campus that you can look at every day, over 300 days of sunshine every year, just like my Californian friends. But we're actually ranked as one of the best cities to live in the country by lots of different sources, U.S. News World Report, Outside Magazine, Money Magazine, and so forth. So beautiful place. But I think what we're probably most well known for is our block plan. What is the block plan? Well, I'm going to ask you a quick question first. Okay, is everybody ready? How many classes do you take a day in school? 4 or 5? I heard 6. 6? That's a lot of classes, isn't it? It's hard to juggle all those classes at the same time, and I often tell people I remember that feeling of kind of secretly studying for my French test when I'm actually in chemistry. Have we all done that before me? It's a lot to juggle. You're always thinking about your other class, the next subject, the other paper, the other exam. But at Colorado College, you don't have to do that anymore because we only take one class at a time. I know. One class at a time. It is very rare in the United States. There are only a few other colleges in North America and Canada that have this system called the block plan. So there's so many advantages, but I want to just quickly close because we want to talk about all the great things about your questions that we have. But the block plan means that you have an opportunity to travel outside of the classroom to where we think it's most engaging, most effective, and most exciting for you to learn. So you'll go with your whole class. You'll go to the New York Stock Exchange to study economics. You'll go to Boston to study innovation. You'll go to Hollywood to study film. You'll go to London to study Shakespeare, and so forth. One class every 3.5 weeks. Okay, so one class every 3.5 weeks means that you'll take the same number of classes and credits to graduate as any of our peer institutions. You'll take 8 classes a year, 32 classes to graduate. So you actually have the same, it's very similar to the standard U.S. education experience in terms of the number of courses you'll be taking, but just one at a time. So thank you so much. And now we're going to address some more common themes about education in the United States now that we've each done our introductions.
So all of us represent really great institutions, and I hope you will think about all of us when you think about going to college. But there are lots of choices that you have if you're interested in going to school in the United States. So there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of different choices for you. And the three biggest types of institutions that we offer are community college, and university. So all of these types of places are where you would study after you graduate high school, but they offer really different things. So a university is the largest of those three types of institutions. Universities usually have tens of thousands of students. So in thinking about where you want to go to school, it's important to think about, do I want to be in a place with thousands and thousands of people? Do I want to be a small environment with just a few hundred people? Do I want a mid-sized experience with maybe a few thousand people? So population is something to keep in mind. At universities, they offer several different types of degrees. So they will offer a bachelor's degree, they can offer master's programs, which you would earn after a bachelor's, and they also often offer up to PhD programs. So at the same time you're going to school, you're also going to school with students that are pursuing higher level degrees as well. So oftentimes in these types of situations, you're not always taught by a professor. Sometimes you're taught by a professor, sometimes you're taught by a graduate student, but your classes are guaranteed to almost always be really large. And so for some student, a large class is really exciting. They get to be in a room with lots of different people. They get to have some anonymity. But for some students, it's really intimidating. They want to be in a small classroom. They want to be able to get to know their professor. So all of these things are things to think about as you make college choices, as you make your list. Colleges are different from universities mainly because they do not have any graduate students. So colleges only offer undergraduate programs. You can only earn a bachelor's degree, and there won't be any graduate students teaching you. So every single class that you have will be taught by a professor. So again, thinking about if you want that small experience, if you want the ability to be able to get to know your peers, to get to know your professors, a college is a good option. Community colleges are different because they are colleges that serve their direct communities. So if you can imagine, there's a community college in every city or in every neighborhood that serves just that direct population. So the students who go to a community college are typically people who live in the area. So it's a really good way to get to know one area in depth because most people there are local. But community colleges also give students the advantage of saving money when it comes to college. So college can be very expensive, and community college is one way to offset that. So the cost of courses at community college is very, very affordable. And what you will do is you'll go there for 2 years and you'll take basically general education requirements. So every college, every university has a set of courses that you need to take to graduate. Most of them are very, very similar. So at a community college, you can spend 2 years taking those classes at a really low cost, and then you can work on transferring to a college or university later. So basically, you're saving 2 years of tuition and fees at somewhere that would be bigger or more expensive. Another nice thing and something interesting about community colleges is that the student body is very diverse. So sometimes they are students that have just graduated high school, but sometimes there are people who are going back to school after working for a number of years. There are students who are pursuing a second bachelor's degree. And so you can meet people from all walks of life. You can meet younger students like yourself. You can meet older students. You can meet parents. You can meet grandparents sometimes. So it's interesting to be around a lot of different types of people in that setting.
So to, I guess, complicate your choices further, not only are there universities, colleges, and community colleges, but there are private and public versions of most of those as well. So you will have private universities and public universities, private colleges and public colleges. The difference between a private university and a public university is generally size. So something like Harvard, Princeton that we saw earlier, those are private universities, and their undergraduate populations are around 6,000, maybe a little under. I think Princeton's a little less than that. Some private universities like New York University or the University of Southern California can still be bigger, up to like 20,000, I think, students. Public universities, those are, and private universities are essentially funded by students, alumni, donations, things like that. The public universities in the United States are funded by the government. And so they're intended to be more affordable to students within the states that they're located. So you saw Arizona State was on the slide. The University of Texas was on the slide. Those are examples of public universities. Those tend to be very large. As Ms. Villanueva was talking about earlier, some of those can get up to 50, 60,000 students. It's quite a number of people there. Oh, good call. No, it's wonderful. I love remembering the whole presentation. So wait, can you go back one more to the one with all the names on it? Yeah. There you go. And this can get very confusing, right? University of Pennsylvania down there. Pennsylvania is the name of a state in the United States, but the University of Pennsylvania is a private university. Pennsylvania State University is a public university. This is complicated, and you don't have to memorize all this. But basically, what you need to, and actually with colleges also. So Davidson College up there is private. I actually don't know about Roanoke College, but for example, College of William and Mary is a public small college. Foothill and De Anza over there are the community colleges. So anyway, all of this to say that public universities, generally you will not have as much on-campus housing. You'll live like in the city around the university. So I actually attended the University of Texas for my master's degree, and I think most students live on campus for their first year, and then after that you're finding an apartment somewhere in the city. And that can be really exciting because you get to be independent and you get to live on your own. You get to have total control over your daily schedule in life, and that's very cool. So at private universities, though, housing is usually guaranteed on campus. So for us, we're private colleges. We all guarantee housing on campus. The private universities, I can't even generalize that, though. 'Cause NYU, you can't live on campus. You know what? It's hard to generalize. Basically, the moral of the story is whatever college or university or community college you are interested in, go to their website, read up everything about it, because there's really no way to make a generalization about any of these. So you want to take a look at what the offerings are at that particular place. If they have the opportunity to email admission staff members like us, do that. If they have the opportunity to interact with current students, do that, and ask them, do you live on campus? Do you live off campus? Do you have large classes? Do you have small classes? Do you have professors that teach your classes? Do you have TAs that teach your classes? So I don't know. That's kind of the overview of public, private, university, college. Do you want to take your...
All right, so I have liberal arts colleges. Now, who knows what a liberal arts college is? It's okay, that's why we're here. We're here to help. Does anybody have, when you hear liberal arts college, what are some thoughts that might come to mind? Painting, dancing, very true. Good, that's true. Anybody else? Art? Yes. Music? Yes. Sciences?
Oh, sciences. Yeah, sciences.
Yes. Sciences, in fact, so at several liberal arts colleges that I know, including this one right here, and with Carter and I, we both have sciences in our top 5 most popular majors. So it's I think it's a very interesting point that a lot of us associate liberal arts colleges with the arts, which is true. You were all correct. The thing is, liberal arts colleges are interdisciplinary. So that's a fancy word of saying that there's lots of different subjects across the entire spectrum, everything you can dream of and more. So sciences, arts, history, music, yes, dance, yes, but also at our school, for example, biochemistry, environmental sciences, physics, math, mathematical economics, and so forth. So those are also available to you. And I think what's really great to think about, if a liberal arts college could be a good fit for you, is if you're somebody who's interested in a lot of different areas and you can't decide exactly what it is that you want to do with the rest of your life. Does anybody know exactly what they want to do with the rest of your life? Raise your hand. Awesome. We got a few people. That is fantastic. I'm jealous. I wish I was like that. But if you don't know exactly what you want to do, exactly what you want to study, a liberal arts college is a fantastic place to go, because that's actually where you can have exposure to everything. So it's actually what we hope as liberal arts colleges is that if you don't know what you want to study, you come and you figure it out at our school. So you can do a lot of different things at the same time. So you can be a dancer and also study biology and also play an instrument, play the piano. You can also play on a sport and be on the baseball team or the basketball team or the tennis team. So we encourage that, or football, depending on your school. But I think that's what Carter was saying earlier, is I think if you do some research on liberal arts colleges, you'll find that there's a lot of opportunity. Now, the last thing that I would say that's really special about a liberal arts college is the amount of individual, personalized support that you will get from your professors. And that is a huge deal, because at a liberal arts college, I think almost all liberal arts colleges don't have teaching assistants, right? So teaching assistants, 0. Do you know what a teaching assistant is? A teaching assistant is not the professor, but somebody that is maybe a graduate student that comes in and helps out and teaches on behalf of the professor if it's a really big school, and kind of helps the professor out. But at smaller liberal arts colleges, that doesn't happen. It's just the professor that's teaching the classes. No teaching assistants means there's no in-between person that's in between you and the professor. The professor knows you, and they know you very well. And I think that is so important when you're thinking about going to school and you want to get help and you want to feel comfortable, you want to be able to raise your hand and ask questions. This room right now with all these rows would be very uncommon at a liberal arts college. Very uncommon. You would have maybe about average class sizes tend to be 15 people, 10 people, 19 people. So the average class size being that small with no teaching assistants means that you're going to have a very engaged education. Nobody can sleep in the back row. No more nap time. Anybody? Yeah. No, just kidding. But I just want you to think about that in terms of fit and what a liberal arts college could offer you. And that's really what, those are some of the top qualities I think that make it really different. And the last, sorry, I said last before, but this is the last, double last thing is that research. Because I think people don't associate research opportunities with liberal arts colleges. You think of a big university as a place where you can do research, right? A big university, they have a lot of lab space and all this fancy equipment. But we can do that too here at liberal arts colleges. In fact, because those class sizes that we're just talking about are so small, your professors get to know you very well. All of our schools have student-faculty collaborative research programs, which means that you can pair up with a professor and delve into a passionate issue that you both really care about researching. You know, Carter and Misa have great examples of that as well. And then you can do independent research. Our colleges will fund that research for you. You can apply for a grant and pursue your own research locally, nationally, or internationally. So I would encourage you to keep that in mind as well when you're thinking about what a liberal arts college can offer you.
Just a quick addendum to Megan's point about teaching assistants. I mentioned I got my master's degree at the University of Texas at Austin, which I'm very proud of. I love them. But I was a teaching assistant there, and you do not want me as your teacher. I had no idea what I was doing. So being a teaching assistant is a learning experience for the graduate student, and the undergrads are the guinea pigs. So you definitely want to avoid being in a place where that's the case. If you can, I highly recommend going to a place where the professor is the one teaching the class. But anyway, we want to move on to something that I think, we have all these different kinds of colleges and universities that we are talking about. But the question that I know is on everybody's mind is about finances, cost, right? And so one of the things that I guess I should have mentioned in the difference between private and public is that public universities will often have a lower price tag than private ones. Private ones, if you look up what they cost, private colleges and universities will look like they are more expensive. But often, private universities and colleges are the ones that offer more scholarships especially to international students than public ones do. And so don't get put off by the price tag that you see. You want to do a little bit of research, and I know Ms. Villanueva was talking about this, because some colleges and universities offer a lot of scholarship money to international students. So what is financial aid? When we talk about financial aid, what does that mean? I guess I'll field this one. So essentially there are two kinds of financial aid that you can get. One is need-based, and that's how much financial aid you need in order to attend a college. The other is merit-based, and that's sort of extra money that we give students because the students are amazing and awesome, and we think that they've earned a little bit of a discount on their college education. And so you want to apply for both if you need to. If you can afford the full cost of the university, that's awesome, and that will put you in a very good position when you're applying to the university. If you cannot, then you want to look up what universities offer need-based scholarships to international students. All three of our colleges here, we offer need-based scholarships to international students. They are still very competitive. We only have a certain amount of money that we give out, and we're looking at students from all over the world. So don't just look at our three colleges, because it's going to be tough. You want to look at a lot of schools, and there are hundreds of schools in the U.S. I think I saw like the latest stat was something like 900 schools in the U.S. that give out need-based scholarships. So there's 4,000 schools overall. About 900 of those will give out need-based scholarships to international students. And so you want to do your research into which schools those are. When you find a school that you like, email them, scour the website, find out what it takes in order to receive scholarship money as an international student. There are several terms that you're going to hear when looking at financial aid.
So one of those terms is meeting 100% of demonstrated need. So need-based financial aid is all about your ability to pay. But there's different ways that colleges will give you the money that you need. So one of the things to look for is for a college that meets 100% of demonstrated need. What that means is that whatever it is that the college needs to give you to be able to afford that college or university, they will give you 100% of that. So my university or my college, for example, is very expensive. It is $70,000 a year, but we offer 100% of demonstrated need. So if you apply to my college and you are admitted and we figure out your ability to pay is $0, that means that we will give you $70,000 so that you can attend our college. So we are giving you 100% of what you need. Not all colleges will do that, or not all universities will do that. So that is something to look at. Some schools might say, okay, you can pay $0. We cost $70,000. We can only give you $30,000. You find the other $40,000. So some schools will do that. We will not. But it is something that you need to be aware of as you look at what financial aid will be for different places.
In terms of how to apply for that, that's different at every college. Sorry, it's very we don't make this easy for you. I'm sorry, but you want to go to each college's website and find out. So, for example, in order to apply for need-based financial aid at Occidental College, where I work, you have to fill out the International Student Financial Aid Application, or the ISFA for short. And we look at that. You put in your family assets, income, all the numbers, and it kind of determines how much you can afford to pay. For Colorado College and for Harvey Mudd College, you will use the CSS profile, and it's very similar, but it's a different form that you have to fill out.
You might have heard of an organization called the College Board. This is where you register to take the SAT or the SAT subject test. College Board also houses our forms for financial aid for international students. So if you're looking for those forms, what they look like, how to access them, go to the College Board.
Also, we have the ISFA on our website. A lot of colleges will put forms that you need on the website, so you can go to those places as well.
Maybe, Carter, do you want to say that form one more time? Because I know I can never remember the order of the words, so I thought maybe for everybody, did you want to say it one more time?
Sure, yeah. International Student Financial Aid Application. ISFAA. ISFA. The other side, we've talked a lot about need-based aid. There's also merit-based aid. With merit-based aid, that also is handled differently at every college. So some colleges are going to ask you to fill out a separate application. So you'll have your application to get admitted to the college, and then you'll have a separate application to get merit scholarships to the college. Some will have a different deadline that you have to apply by in order to receive the merit aid. In some cases, so I know this is the case for Harvey Mudd and Occidental. I forget for Colorado College. Okay, so for all three of us, you are automatically considered for merit scholarships. So you don't have to do anything different. But at many places you do. That's not bad on that place's part, but it just means that you need to be aware when you're looking at the college and university of what the requirements are. Everyone's website should be very clear on that. But again, if you have any questions at any point, email the admissions person there. We love getting emails.
We are so happy to help you.
Yeah.
Especially from you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The people in this room should definitely email us. And everyone watching at home. Okay, so that's a little bit about financial aid. We'll come back to that. But let's see. So now these are questions that all of us are going to answer because they're different for everybody. Megan, how many international students apply to Colorado College every year?
Right. So I was looking at this question. I thought maybe the best way to answer it is to flip it and say how many students we have on campus. So we actually we'll have 10% of our 2,000 plus students are international this year. We actually have 50 countries on campus. So that's 50 countries represented at our school. And that's a really neat thing because we're so small. Again, we're talking about the smallness of liberal arts colleges, but we also have a global community, which is so valuable. So you'll have, maybe your roommate will be from a different country, or will be from the US, or will be from a small town, a big city, but there's a lot of wonderful variances in background, and I think that makes it really special. Global community.
So we are also a very small school. So in our total applicant pool, we get close to 4,200 applicants. Of those 4,200 applicants, around 500 or so will be international students. So it's a pretty good amount for us. So that number doesn't sound big by itself, but in the context of that 4,200, it's a pretty good amount.
And we have about this year we had 6,400 applications, and around 650 or 700 of those were non-U.S. citizens. And of that, we admitted maybe about 210.
Oh, this is something else to think about as well. For most schools, you're an international student based on your citizenship. So, for example, you can live here, but if you are a U.S. citizen or a permanent resident, then oftentimes you're not considered an international student, especially when it comes to financial aid, which is important to think about. So international student is more about citizenship and residency status than it is about physical location of your school.
Yeah, because conversely, if you are a citizen of Peru and you go to high school in the U.S., you're still considered an international student in our process because of your citizenship. Okay, so Megan, at Colorado College, how many international students apply from public high schools?
It's a very good question. We have, I'd say it's about half and half, because we have students, again, applying from all over the world, all over the world. And so we have national schools and national curriculums, but we also have many schools that have the IB and international programs, A-levels, and so forth. So I would say we have a big combination of those two.
At Harvey Mudd, not too many students, international students, apply from public or national schools, and we would love to see more of that. So most of our applicants will come from private schools, but we would really love it if more public school students would apply to us. I think part of that is because most people haven't heard of us before. We're really expensive, so I think that's intimidating. We're kind of far away. But if you go to a public school, please think about us. And if you have friends at public school, please tell them about us.
And I would say that it's probably similar. I'm actually curious, how many students here go to private school? Okay. How many students go to public school? Cool. Okay, awesome. Great.
Think about all three of us.
Yeah. So I would say, at Occidental as well, we probably usually get private school students from overseas, and so we also love seeing public school students from here as well. And so to that end, how do we look at these schools differently? You know, how do we evaluate someone that comes from a private school versus coming from a public school? Megan?
Well, you know, it's funny. I went to a public school, and it was in a very small town, and it was really far away from everything. And I remember just feeling like, wow, private schools, I wonder what they're like, because we, what kind of classes do they have there? And I think it's really important to know that whenever we're looking at your application, we're only looking at how you're doing within the context of your high school. So we're never comparing you to another school or an applicant from a private school or another program, because that's just not fair, right? Like, you don't have those classes available to you, then how can we expect you to be taking them? So before we even look at your transcript, before we even look at the grades that you've earned or the classes that you're taking, we have a very clear understanding of what courses are available for you to take. And so in that context, we can't say, I wonder why you didn't take an IB curriculum, or why you didn't take IB classes. Maybe you don't have IB curriculum available to you. So that's really important for us to do our homework on your schools. And many schools actually have a profile that they send to colleges. And that profile is like about a one-page sometimes 2 pages, introduction to the school, explaining the curriculum, explaining the classes that are available, and the number of students that are in your classes, and so forth. So we get to also travel and come visit you here too, which is another great thing. So we can come visit you at your high school, and we can meet you and in your school, and meet your teachers, and meet your counselors, and meet your mentors. So I think that's really important to know, that we're never comparing you against other people. We're only looking at you within the context of your school.
Megan, that was a perfect answer.
Yep.
Thank you.
Nothing to add to that. Okay, so how many international students do we admit? Misa, why don't you start this? How many international students do you admit?
Yes. So we don't set a limit in number. So we don't say like we need 50 international students, or we need, X number of students. What we try to do is keep our international student population around 10% or so. And the reason why we do that at our school is because it's small. And so even though we can support our students well, we don't ever want to overwhelm the support that we have. So we always want to make sure that every single student that is on our campus, and especially international students, have the amount of attention that they deserve to be able to transition to our college, to life in the United States. And so if we have too many and we grow too fast, then it puts a lot of strain on those resources. So we always admit the right number that we feel we can always comfortably accommodate. Typically, that is about 10% of each incoming class.
That's actually probably true for Occidental College. As the international admissions coordinator at Occidental College, I wish we could admit 100% international students, but we don't, because there are talented students within the U.S. too, and so we probably have about 10% of our students that are international, and we also don't have a set number. This is not true for every school. Some schools will have quotas from different regions, or set a cap. But basically, for us, if you're a great student and we can make it happen financially, we want to admit you. So, yeah.
I think you both said that really well. I'm very similar, or we're very similar at Colorado College. We obviously are excited to be here. We're excited to meet you. The 3 of us literally travel all over the world to try and bring international students to our campuses. So we don't have any cutoffs. We really want to make sure that we can bring as many wonderful folks to our school as we can, from as many different places as we can. Oh, sorry, go ahead. Oh, yeah. Oh gosh, time. You don't want to stay here all night, probably. We can just hang out with you forever.
These next ones might be a little quick. So what are our average TOEFL, ACT, and SAT scores that we look for?
We're for our average TOEFL is about 100 or above, and I say that with a little bit of a caveat, just to let you know very quickly that we don't have a hard cutoff at 100. So that means that while we tend to have 100 or above, if you have 95 or you're around that area, and you've worked really hard in your high school, you've performed very well in your high school, that would be okay. So it wouldn't mean like we would stop reading your application because you have less than 100 for your TOEFL.
For us, it is the same. It's around 100. That's where we know that students have the most chance of being successful. At Harvey Med, and also something to think about as you think about college, we do not offer any English language support. And so even though, again, if you have under 100, we will still read your application. We still look at your context. We're not able to really help you sort of beef up your English skills before you get to the college. There's not a whole lot of support if your level of English is not at almost a native speaker. And so that's why we are pretty strict with that 100 TOEFL score.
And I'm also going to say Occidental College, we have a minimum score of 100 on the TOEFL, but don't get discouraged if you're not at that level because, how many of you are, going to be applying to college this year? Okay, so how many of you will be applying to college next year? Okay, great. So all of you have a lot of time to do better on tests, as Ms. Villanueva was talking about. You come in, you study, you get a score. And if you're determined, you can study harder, get higher scores. and all of that. But for us, we may be looking at 100, but UCLA, for example, on there, I know their minimum TOEFL score is an 80. If you're looking at Foothill Community College, De Anza Community College, I don't think they have minimum TOEFL scores. And so whatever your score is, you can find colleges and universities that are in that range, certainly. And then I'm going to just take this one real quick, too. In terms of the SAT and the ACT, there's not one exam that's better than the other. You can take either one of those exams, and we treat them the same. So don't stress about that. Honestly, whatever exam you score higher on, submit that one.
And then I know for Harvey Mudd and Colorado College, we do something that we refer to as super scoring, which is basically where we try to make you look as good as possible. So we'll look at how many times you took a test, and we will take the highest score from each test sitting to create a super score. And we'll also do that across the tests as well. So if, for example, your ACT math is higher than your SAT math, we'll look at your ACT math. So we're always trying to make you look as good as possible. At Harvey Mudd specifically, we require a different set of tests called the SAT subject tests. And some schools will require that, some schools will not. So it's important to think about that as you plan out your testing.
So this is a very mysterious process from your end, I imagine, right? Like you fill out an application, you take all these tests, and then you just send to us, and 3 months later you hear back. And so what goes on in the interim, right? At our colleges, I'm going to generalize, I guess. So at our colleges, your application gets read 2 times. By 2 different people. Every single application. At least. Every single application gets read twice. And that's just the first read. A lot of times when we have students who are competitive, we go back. We look at it again. We talk about it with other people. We all sit around a table and argue with each other about who should get in and who shouldn't. And so we know that you spend a lot of time putting these applications together, and we end up spending a lot of time reading them. So don't worry that your hard work does not go to waste. We definitely respect that.
And the time that we spend in the application review process is also another hallmark of a liberal arts college or of a small school. So because, again, I only get about 4,200 applicants, Carter gets 6,000, it's not that many. So we're able to give it a lot of attention. We can read every essay, we can look at every award, we can really think about your place in the institution. But if you are a large state school, so for example, UCLA, who received 100,000 applications for their first year class, they cannot do that. And so it's important to think, too, about how you're going to be treated in the application process. A school like UCLA does have to be more score-based, more GPA-based, because they need those numbers because there's so many applicants. For us, we can spend a lot more time thinking about things other than numbers, other than scores.
So speaking of those things, what are the things that we look at aside from scores? Megan, like aside from excellent grades and scores, of course, you have to do well in class. You try to get high scores on your tests, but those are not the only things that we look at.
Exactly. So is anybody nervous about writing their college essay? Yeah, a little bit. I was too. I was like, what should I say that'll make me look really intelligent and philosophical and deep thinking and all of that good stuff? I know there's a lot of pressure to find the right topic, but I think the essay is really an opportunity to showcase who you are in addition to all these grades and letters and numbers and scores that we just talked about. So that's the nice thing, is that we actually do want to get to know you, your personality, what you think about, what do you care about, what do you want us to know about you that isn't already in your application? And I think you can use, a little tip that I finally got out of my own head, and I wrote about my relationship with my mom because we had quite a relationship, and it was really interesting. It was something I was thinking a lot about, and I just use that example because something that is really close to your heart, that you think about a lot, the closer it is to your heart, the easier it will be for you to write. So finding something that you're really passionate about, that's really the best part, because that's really showing who you are, and it's going to come about a little bit more naturally. So sometimes the essay, I think people feel like, I need to show them that I'm really perfect. But you don't really have to do that. It just showcasing who you are. So I would say the essay, activities that you enjoy doing outside of school, including those is really great. There's no magic special list of activities, so don't think that we have like, oh, no violin here. No, like you can do absolutely whatever you want, include that. Again, it's just an opportunity to get to know you better.
And I will quickly add too that doing your research on the institution is also really important, especially for schools like ours that spend so much time with you. So, for example, Harvey Mudd, we focus in science, technology, engineering, and math. So if you wrote that you wanted to go to Harvey Mudd because you wanted to study dance and you wanted to do English and you hated math and science, that would show me that you do not know anything about Harvey Mudd and you would probably hate Harvey Mudd. So it's really important that you look at schools and think about how you're going to fit with them, what it is that you like about them, how you can contribute to their community, and that you communicate your enthusiasm and your research and your knowledge for that place. That's really important.
So we want to also talk about where our graduates end up. These three colleges, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that you had never heard of us before we showed up here. Is that true? It's okay to admit.
That's pretty fair.
That's why
we're here.
That's why we come here. So what happens when you graduate from a college that you haven't heard about until afterwards? Well, we talk about this a lot on the trip that we've been making, and lamenting that a lot of our alumni are not necessarily household names. That we can sit here and say so-and-so went here and everyone would ooh and ah. But a lot of our alumni are leaders in their field. When I look at the list of Occidental alumni, I see CEOs of multinational corporations. I see people who founded technology startups that are worth tens of millions of dollars. I see politicians, people who work at the United Nations, doctors, lawyers. Like there's an incredible amount of successful people who have graduated from all of our institutions. And I think a lot of that is the small environment that's there, the access you have to professors, to our career services offerings. All of these things help you get a really like a running start to your time after college. Though I do have to take a second to say Occidental does have somebody that you've heard of that went to Occidental. Does anyone, well, you guys didn't know Occidental before you showed up here. Has anyone heard of Barack Obama? Right? You know Barack Obama? He went to Occidental College. So you can go to a small college that no one's ever heard of and end up the leader of the free world.
That is perfect.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, next question. So let's see this pretty logistical one. Is there an age limit to apply to an undergraduate program at your universities? And do we accept international transfer students?
So we do not have an age limit, but we do think about if you're ready to go to college, if you're a lot younger, if you're older, if you're different from kind of what our traditional applicant pool looks like, are you going to be responsive to the type of community that we have? So Harvey Mudd's really small. It's residential. So if you are a 35-year-old married person with a family of 6, Harvey Mudd might not be the best environment for your learning or the best environment for you to be with your family. So we always think about what a person's situation is like given their age. With younger students, we often think about, are they ready for this really intense college experience that they're about to have with math and science? So we think about, can they be successful in the residence halls? Are they able to handle the rigor of their coursework? Are they emotionally mature enough for that situation? So there's no cutoff, but we're always looking to see, where a student is at any given time.
Okay, so we want to leave time for a couple of questions, but so with these last two, we're going to keep them real short. So Megan, where did you study in college? And and keeping in mind that we all work in education, we're all admissions officers, and we travel the world. It's a pretty cool job that we have. So where did you go to college and what did you study?
Fun. Well, one of my schools is on this slide, which I'm very excited about. This one was my graduate school, Johns Hopkins University for grad school. And I went to a small private liberal arts college for undergraduate, which is called Skidmore College in New York. So it's a small school in New York.
And what did you study there?
Oh, what did I study? I studied everything I could get my hands on, but I ultimately, and I changed my major about 4 or 5 times. That's very common. I was education major, I was psychology major, I was doing all kinds of things, and then I ended up on Asian studies after studying abroad. So in China. So there's a lot of great studying abroad opportunities in college as well.
And we could talk all day. So I, too, went to a small private undergraduate liberal arts college. It is called Pitzer College. You might have heard me mention it earlier. It's one of the 5 colleges that Harvey Mudd shares resources with. So I went there, and like Megan, because it was a liberal arts school, I studied lots and lots of different things, but my major was art history, and I was able to minor in French literature and language. So it was a great experience to just be able to get to experience new things. I learned a lot about myself. I was challenged to think about, different things I was good at, how I would be in different situations, but it led me into doing this, which is great. I love getting to know students. I love getting to travel, getting to talk about liberal arts.
And I got my undergraduate degree from Pomona College, which is also one of the Claremont colleges.
Pretty good place.
And also a small liberal arts college. And I got, as I've mentioned many times, got my master's from the University of Texas at Austin. Both of those degrees for me were in media studies, so digital media. And in undergraduate, I minored in music. And so you've heard Asian studies, art history, media studies, and we've all ended up doing this. These are really super different things. We've all ended up in this really awesome job. So you can go study these really cool, interesting things and have successful careers where you get paid to travel around the world and talk to interesting people like yourselves. Last question. What advice, if you could give one piece of advice, just one piece of advice to a student applying to your college, what would it be?
Okay, mine is please, please, please think about the right place where you'll fit. There's a lot of emphasis on I've heard of this school, or this place is famous, or my friend goes here. But really, college is all about you becoming who you want to be and being around people you want to be like, being in environments that are going to help you learn and grow and challenge yourself and be really satisfied. So think really, really hard past the name of the school and think about what's the community like? What can I do academically? What opportunities do I have personally? And those things are going to make you so much more enriched and happy than successful than what a brand name might be.
And I'm going to go off of that because it's kind of similar. Don't just fall in love with one school. Yeah. There are 4,000 schools in the United States. There are even more outside the United States. There are schools everywhere. Don't fall in love with just one. If you set your sights on Harvard, for example, and you don't get in, you don't want to be crushed. You don't want to go look at the school that you end up at as a backup school or a fallback school. You want to be in love with every school you apply to, and you want to be in love with 10, 15, 20 schools. There are a lot of great schools out there. We know you're not only going to apply to our college. We hope you don't, because I really want you to end up somewhere, and we can't take everybody. And so if you apply to our college and we can't take you, we still really want you to be successful and to find somewhere great. So please, please, please fall in love with a lot of colleges.
Good. And I think for me, I would just say, don't forget to breathe, because I know it's very daunting, and I remember barely breathing throughout my entire college application process. But I want to promise you that everything is going to it's going to be a challenging ride, but you're going to see this through, and you're going to find a great school that's going to be the best fit for you. If you're hungry and excited to learn and grow and change, a lot of your college education is going to be what you make of it. So when you end up at the school that you end up, just bring your curiosity, your passion every day, and that's going to make your college experience really shine, because there are so many wonderful schools. And the last thing I'd say is really take advantage of the resources like EducationUSA, Miss Kelly, the support that you have here. Really use that support. Talk to your college counselors, talk to Miss Kelly, talk to people that you can get support from, because that is why you're all here, and that's what brought us together. And I really want to encourage you to keep using that support, using the social media page that she had up earlier and so forth, and following up with our schools directly when you have questions.
So
Thank you.
with the time that we don't have left, but do you have any questions that we didn't cover that we can cover very quickly for you?
Yes, thanks. Do those universities have a scholarship for successful students?
Successful students?
Yes.
Yes.
And how can I get one of these scholarships?
So this, I think, in doing the best that you can in everything. Like just get the best grades that you can, get the best scores that you can. Don't worry about getting the absolute top. But this is where finding the right fit school for you is important. For some people who will get denied from Harvard, they may end up getting full rides to George Mason. And so if you do the research to see where your fit is in terms of not just what you're interested in, but also the numbers and the grades and all that, then you'll see where you're going to be eligible for those scholarships.
And for example, I'm the first of my classroom, and is it positive for me?
Yeah.
What is the positive?
That you're the first in the class.
I mean, it shows that you work hard. It shows that you're capable. You're a leader. And so there's a lot of other personal qualities that go along with achieving highly. And so we see all of those.
Absolutely.
Gracias. Si van a hacer unas consultas, por favor que sean una específica, una muy buena.
What is the difference? When do you consider a student as a transfer student?
A student is a transfer student when they have gone to one university or college already and are applying to go to a different one. And so whether that's that you've gone to Foothill Community College for 2 years and you're applying to us for the second 2 years, or if you go to Notre Dame for 1 year and apply to us for the next 3 years, that's a transfer student. Does that make sense? Cool.
Okay, we'll have about 3 questions and then we'll conclude. I'll answer and find answers to your questions also by email.
Yeah, and you can email any of us.
We all have business cards.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. What about the extracurricular activities and how do they affect to our applicants on one or your college maybe?
So I think extracurricular activities are just a way to find out more about the things that you do and the things that you're interested in. And so all of us will tell you that it's so much more important to do a few things meaningfully that you're really excited about than to do lots and lots and lots of things and have a list of things that you do just because you think it looks good. Activities tell us about what your interests are. They tell us about your time commitment to other things. And it also tells us a little bit too about how you're able to balance a challenging academic course load in addition to doing other things. And especially for our schools where they're so community oriented, we really want to make sure that you're going to do other things just, other than just study or other than just think about academics.
Good night. Well, I have a question that is for you three guys. I'm cursing right now International Business Management, and I'm almost about to finish. So, in fact, this is my last year. So, I would like to know if there's any MBA or PhD program I could enroll to if I wanted to go to any of your colleges.
So the short answer is no. We all only do bachelor's degrees, so that's for undergraduate students. But this is where what we were talking about at the beginning was universities. So if you see the word university in the title, so NYU, USC, UCLA, if that U is in there, Carnegie Mellon University, George Mason University, those kinds of places, if they have university, then they have graduate degrees. And so you can go in and explore the MBA opportunities, PhDs, all of that over there. And the last question over here. Last question. We'll stick around. Don't worry.
Don't worry, we're here.
Yeah.
I am interested in following the literature major, and I would like to know how is the literature program in the three of the universities.
It's amazing. It's an amazing program. Yeah, I mean, I would say for any of if you have program specific questions, we love all of the programs at all of our colleges. And I think one of the questions that a lot of people ask is always, what's your most popular major? You know, as if the most popular major is going to be the best major. And that's not the case. You know, the most popular major just means that the most students are taking it. But at Occidental, one of our smallest majors is our social justice major, but I think it's one of the coolest ones that's there. And so for you, when you're looking at a particular program, don't look at how many people necessarily, like go to on all of the websites each department will have its own web page. Go in and read about who the professors are, what they study, what kinds of classes are offered. And, if when you go to any of our literature department web pages, if the classes that are offered are classes that you would love to take, it's probably going to be a good fit.
And then we're going to bring all our materials from the back up here. So if you want to take a brochure or take a business card, you can do that. So just wait a second. Thank you.
Right. I just wanted to take this moment to thank you so much, the three of you, for coming to speak to us today. They've answered I sent them so many questions and they took the time to answer them all. I wanted to conclude by saying that if you have questions specifically for an asesoría, maybe you're really interested about what they presented and you want to do it, you want to apply, please set up a meeting with me, and I'll pass us really quickly through the PowerPoint so that you can contact us and set up a meeting. My email is here, kelly.villanueva@ipna.edu.pe. Nosotros ofrecemos citas de asesoría todo el año. Por favor, todo es previa cita. Pero no se preocupen, ahí se va a mantener la información. Quisiera pedir, por favor, que todos les demos un gran aplauso a los tres panelistas. Sure. Ok, chicos, manténganse sentados mientras ellos van por su material. Como les mencionaron, si es que tienen preguntas específicas de sus universidades, podrían hacer esas consultas. Si sus consultas son súper generales, yo recomiendo pedir una cita personalizada. Sí, por favor, sostengan sus hojitas blancas en el aire, porque eso es la forma como ellos se van a contactar con ustedes. Si no recibieron una hojita blanca, me escriben un correo, yo les paso los correos de los panelistas. Muchísimas gracias.